off, and I'll be discussing the behaviors exhibited by the Anna's hummingbird through the scope of Nicholas Tinbergen's 4 questions. Hypothesis 1, causation, is the proximate reason behavior happens because of hormones, genes, nerve impulses that result in expression of the behaviors. The behavior I witnessed by the Anna's hummingbird in my study was confrontational, which is derived from all of the above in the male because it would benefit a male to be domineering or confrontational when it comes to food. The fact that I initiated the confrontation by sticking a camera near his feeding area also supports the idea that his territory or food was in jeopardy, and therefore his controlling mechanism is the hormones or nerve impulses that aid in his reaction to confront the intruder. Doug P. Armstrong from the School of Biological Sciences wrote in an article called The Correlation Between Nectar Supply and Aggression in Territorial Honey Eaters, Causation or Coincidence, where in it he states that proposed that animals defend territories only if the benefits of the territoriality exceeds the cost. Following this idea, Carpenter and McMillan developed an economic model predicting when an animal would defend a territory, where the benefit of defense is increased access to food. The model predicts that territoriality will occur at immediate levels of food availability. Armstrong, 1991. The second hypothesis, ontogeny, relates to development in behaviors like imprinting, or when talking about cognition, deals with the issues of learning. In the case of the male Anna's hummingbird and behavior I witnessed, the ontogeny seemed to be a social aspect in which the male was able to communicate and other levels of interaction were displayed, which usually started with a confrontation. F. Gary Stiles conducted a study and wrote on the aggressive and courtship displays of the male Anna's hummingbird. In it, he states that the male Anna's hummingbird faces intruder and turns rapidly from side to side while buzzing his wings and chattering loudly. If the intruder does not retreat, he quickly chases it, and the chatter sway appears to be high-intensity aggressive display, announcing a male's readiness to chase the intruder. It is probably a ritualized flight intention movement, typically given when the intruder is far enough away that the male's threshold of overt attack has not been reached. Stiles, 1982. The third hypothesis, in a phylogenetic or evolutionary context, is the most decisive attribute when discussing behaviors in animals. The animals are working with what they have, and if what they have works, then they will survive and pass it on to the next generation. In the case of my observation, the Anna's hummingbirds displayed a territoriality and confrontation contributed to its survivability and therefore would make that display of behavior evolutionary advantageous. Shirley Wells, Richard Bradley, and Luis Bautista conducted research and studies on the hybridization of calypte hummingbirds, amongst them being Anna's hummingbirds, and many themes they discussed complemented the idea that territorial displays lead to evolutionary advantages. Function or adaptive behavior such as scaring off potential intruders or other birds attempting to take food is a vital part of sustainability. Stephen Tam wrote an article that discusses the functionalities among hummingbirds and foraging food. He states that fluctuations in food availability often occur at rates that can be perceived by animals, and when foragers have imperfect knowledge or incomplete information about such changes, they may improve foraging efficiency. Tam, 1987.